Yo, yo, yo! This is Michael Blanc, and welcome to the Apartment Building Investing Podcast. Today I have a slightly different guest. I have memory champion Ron White on the show. It has nothing to do with multifamily at all. The reason I have him on the show is because I met him a couple months ago at an event. And what he does is he says, hey, everybody, memorize these 15 words. And I memorized, 7 words that I was able, and I think I had like 30 seconds. Couldn't write anything down. By the end of the 2.5 hours, I got 43 of 45 words correct by using a system. And I'm teaching my kids how to do it. I've mapped out my house. You'll learn what that's all about. And I was so excited to learn this thing. I wanted to share this with you. And Ron is just a great guy. He's in Dallas, Texas. Great guy. He's real funny. And I said, look, Ron, I know I do a multifamily investing podcast. I want you on the show. Got nothing to do with what I'm saying, but look, everybody can use a better memory, right? So I am really excited. He's going to teach you how you do that, and it's just so cool. You have to trust me and listen to it and watch this rest of this episode. So just as a reminder, though, before we get into that, is our Deal Maker Live Conference is November 2nd through 4th in Washington, D.C., and it's all about the deal. So we're going to have people presenting their deals they've done, how they found it, how they finance it, how they raise the money for it. There's going to be tons of networking. So if you're a syndicator and you want to do your first deal, you have to go to this conference. If you want to scale your business, this is the way to do it. We're going to have passive investors there. We're going to have money raisers there. And we're going to have all these people there that want to either do their first deal or scale their business. So I'm really excited about it. First time I'm doing this kind of event. It's going to be the biggest we've ever done. Deal Maker Live, November 2nd through 4th. Go to themichaelblanc.com/events. So themichaelblanc.com/event, or just go to themichaelblanc.com and click on events. It'll get you right there. All right, cool. Now, with that out of the way, though I'm excited about that, I'm also excited about having Ron White on the show here. So let's get right into it, the interview with Ron White. Mr. Ron White, welcome very much to the show, my friend.
Hey, thank you so much for having me on. I really appreciate your friendship and sharing your audience with me.
Well, you know, I had the pleasure of meeting you in person a couple months ago, and I was frankly blown away by it because, you know, I have a kind of if I don't write it down, like I don't remember things. And I remember coming into the session, and you challenged us to remember 15 names, and I think I got to 7 afterwards. I started screwing things up, and within 2.5 hours that morning, you had taught, well, a lot of us, including myself, and I got, of the 45 names you asked us to memorize, I actually got 43 right, and I couldn't believe it. And then you had us memorize every person's name in the room. There's like 40 in the room, or 35, I don't know. Within 10 minutes of speed networking, I would say 95% of the people had everyone's names memorized. And I was like, holy cow, you can actually use a system for improving your memory. And so I just wanted to get you here and share some of these techniques with the audience.
Well, you know, and that's what it is all about. It's about a systematic approach to memory, and anybody can improve their memory. And I'm so glad that you took you know what, you are a step ahead of a lot of people. And here's what I mean by that. A lot of people will hear about a memory class and they will just automatically assume there's no way I can improve my memory. There's no way I can get better. I have a terrible memory. It's a waste of time. And even if on some lower level you might have thought that, you were like, but I'm curious. I want to see. And taking that step is just, I got to commend you for that, because a lot of people don't do it. And then when they get in there and they're learning it, they're like, oh, wow, I can do this.
You know, I came home and I mapped my house out. Now the listeners won't know what the heck that means, and we'll talk about it. But you know, I kind of finished out mapping my house out. So I'm using it very frequently, this system. Now, but before we get into that, though, I think you're kind of an interesting guy. Like I didn't even know this existed, Ron. But you're like a 2-time national memory champion. I didn't even know that existed. What is that? What do you have to do?
Yeah, it's one of the biggest nerd tournaments in the country, and but don't feel bad for not knowing about it. I started teaching memory seminars in 1991, so I was out teaching memory seminars until about 2004, 13 years, and I didn't even know about it. So that's how obscure of a underground culture this is. And then in 2004 or 5, I was on the internet and I saw a news story. Man at the USA Memory Championship memorizes a deck of cards in 3 minutes and a 100-digit number in 5 minutes. And I was like, whoa, that is insane. And at that point, I had been teaching memory seminars for 13 years. And when I heard that, I just thought, there's no way. But then it got me curious going, and I went to give my next speech. And when I went to give my next speech, my bio was the same as my bio had been for 13 years. And this is what my bio said. Ladies and gentlemen, we want to introduce Ron White, one of the top memory experts in the entire world. Please welcome him to the stage. And when they said that, my heart sank because I just read the internet story. And I told myself, you know what? If I'm going to have that in my bio, I need to go against these people and I need to compete. And I either need to win and keep it in my bio or take it out or change it up some way. And so I set my sights on competing in the USA Memory Championship in 2004. I started thinking about it. I decided to compete in 2007. I was getting ready to go, and the military sent me to Afghanistan. And so when I got back, I did my first tournament in 2008.
So what did you have to do, and how'd you do?
Well, it's a series in the United States. It's a series of 7 events. The first event is they give you a sheet of paper with 100 or 200 faces on it and names, and you got to memorize them. And the next event is they give you a 400-digit number, and you got to see how much you can memorize in 5 minutes. The next event is they shuffle up a deck of cards, and they hand it to you, and you see how fast you can memorize it. The next events, they give you a poem, and you see how much you can memorize in 15 minutes and then write it out. The next event, they give you a list of 200 words. You see how many you can memorize. The next event, they have 5 people walk up, and the people say their name, their phone number, their date of birth, their street, their city, their zip code, where they went to college, the year they graduated, their type of pet, the color of their pet, the name of their pet, their 3 favorite hobbies, their 3 favorite food, their spouse's name, and 5 people do that. You got to memorize that. And then it ends with a deck of cards. But essentially, it's whoever gets the best score keeps advancing until the end. There's one person left standing.
That's insane. How did you do how long does it take you to memorize a deck of cards?
Well, in 2004, when I saw that news story, man memorizes deck of cards in 3 minutes, I ended up shattering that record. I memorized a deck of cards in 1 minute and 27 seconds, which was a USA record for 2 years. And the guy who memorized a 100-digit number, I ended up shattering his record. I memorized a 167-digit number in 5 minutes, and that record stood for a year. Now, I say I shattered them because I did, but I will tell you this. My records have since been shattered.
Amazing.
Yeah.
It's a really amazing. Now, you were known to do something else a little unusual. Talk about the Afghanistan wall. What was that all about? Why did you do that?
Well, I served in the military, and I was in Afghanistan in 2007. And when I got back from Afghanistan, I set the record for the fastest to memorize a deck of cards. That record was broken 2 years later. And then I wanted to do something more meaningful with my memory than memorize an ace of spades, 9 of diamonds, 3 of clubs. And I was thinking, what's the most meaningful thing I could do? And I was challenged by the History Channel. They wanted me to memorize the Vietnam Wall. They were going to do a special TV show for the History Channel. And that fell through. It didn't happen. But it got me to thinking, I should do this, but I should do it for Afghanistan where I served. So I memorized everybody who died in the war in Afghanistan in the order of their death. There's 2,300 of them, ranked first name, last name at 7,000 words. And I traveled the United States with a wall that looks like the Vietnam Wall, but it's blank. It has nothing written on it. And I will take 10 hours and write it out from memory to honor them.
That's amazing. That's an amazing story that you did that. And I just can't believe there's a system behind it, and I definitely want you to share that system that you have. Because do you think that you were prone to memorizing when you first got started? Do you think it's a particular person to be able to do the system that you have?
So this is one of the hardest questions for me to answer, and it's hard for me to answer because it's all I've known. You know what I'm saying? I guess I will tell you this. my natural memory is not better than your natural memory. And what I mean by that is there is a guy that's a mutual friend of mine and Kyle Wilson. Kyle Wilson's a friend of both of ours. And this is a guy I've gone and had dinner. We've had drinks together. We've hung out at conferences together. I know him well. And I was at Kyle's house yesterday, and I'm like, man, what is that guy's name? I just saw him 2 days ago. My natural memory is not that good. People laugh at me all the time. But my trained memory, I think I did gravitate towards this system because it's so much about systems and processes, but I don't think it's about my memory. I think it's more just about I like the systematic approach.
And that's what's encouraging to me, because literally, like, I look at my weak spot, and all my family knows this is memory. Like, if I don't write it down, I can remember 3 things, Ron, and when the 4th one comes on, it pushes one of the 3 off the stack. You know what I mean? So when I was able to improve my memory by applying your system, it was like, my gosh, this is really powerful. Can you talk about, because some of the things weren't really clear to me, why is a good memory like useful? Like, what are all the things, if I can improve if I could 10x my memory, how can that help me improve my everyday life?
Well, a good memory is useful. Think about it this way. Let's start with the opposite. Let's say that right now your memory started declining and your brain started declining. That would impact every area of your life. It would impact how efficiently you did your job. It would impact your interactions with people. I think we'll all agree if we start losing our memory in our mind, it's going to decline our business. But sometimes we don't think the opposite's also true. If we improve our memory, it improves our business and our lives. And here's why. You meet somebody today, and 6 weeks later you see them at the grocery store. When you can say, hey, Michael, how you doing, man? It's so good to see you. You know, how's your family doing? Something magical happens. There's a bond between us. The bond is much stronger than, hey, man, I saw you a year ago. We met at Kyle Wilson's house. What's your name again? It's a big difference. And let me give you 2 or 3 more real quick examples. Let's say you're not a professional speaker, but let's say you are a member of a Rotary Club or a Chamber of Commerce or a business meeting, and somebody says, hey, Michael, next week, can you introduce the speaker? There's a big difference between getting up in front of that group and saying, hey, guys, this is the speaker, and reading all the information and just talking. And so maybe you're just giving an introduction. And let me give you a few more examples here. Maybe you do have to give a speech. They say, Michael, you are such an expert on real estate. We would love for you to give a 20-minute speech next week on how to invest in real estate. Give that speech without notes when you have a good memory. Remember what you read. If you remember what you read, you're going to learn faster. Imagine this. I spent $1,000 to go to a conference this Saturday. I memorized the key points from that conference. Why? In 6 months, I want people to be able to say, what did you learn from that conference? And I want to be able to tell them. So many people will spend $1,000 in a conference and not remember it 6 months later. It's a waste of money.
Yeah, so many benefits, and I've started teaching it to my kids as well, because they got to memorize stuff in school. Like the thing you did in your class was actually, and I didn't notice because I was so focused on the exercise, we're actually memorizing the 50 presidents, U.S. presidents. I'm like, we're just memorized the 50 presidents, or whatever, how many minutes, right? And it was amazing what it allows you to do. So teaching the kids how to memorize better. So let's just get into the system a little bit, Ron, because I'm really excited about it. Can you describe at the higher level some of the techniques that you use to help people improve their memory?
Yeah, so really the first key to improving your memory, is just focus. You know, you got to be paying attention. There's a lot of things you can do for your focus. Good nutrition and exercise helps with that. I do jiu-jitsu, and one of the primary reasons I do jiu-jitsu is because exercising your brain or exercising your body clears out your brain, kind of clears out the cobwebs. Focus is important. But let's just take it for granted that everybody knows good nutrition and exercise is going to help your ability to focus, and let's move on to the more concrete skills of memory. The really biggest thing that you can do is learning to think in pictures and visualize what you want to remember. And that's the first big key. The second big key, and I'm just going to kind of give you 2 big keys here. The first big key is whatever you want to remember, see it as a picture. The second big key is you have to store that picture in a place where you can go back and retrieve it later. And here's an example. You walk into your friend's house, you take off your jacket, you put your jacket down in a chair, and then you spend 2 hours at your friend's house. When you leave your friend's house, you know that jacket is in that chair. So you walk back to that room and get the chair. Why? That chair held the jacket in your brain. So you need to do the same thing. And let's just dive into this. You mentioned earlier, you said mapping out a house. If you could take your jacket off and put it into a chair, and remember the jacket's there, what if you took your hat off and you put it on the coffee table? What if you took your cell phone out and you put it on the TV? And then 3 hours later, somebody says, where's your cell phone? It's on the TV. Where's your hat? It's on the coffee table. Where's your coat? It's on the chair. That's exactly how I memorize stuff. So this is what I would invite all your listeners to do. Take the room that they're in right now, wherever they're listening to this. And if they're listening to this in their car, they could do it in their car. You could literally pick 5 spots in your car. But let's pick 5 spots in the room that you're in. So, Michael, I'm going to have you do this because I've been talking long enough. I want you to look around that room and start either where you're at right now or start in the doorway and tell me 5 big pieces of furniture around that room.
Right. So we got a frame here on the left. We got lights here in front of us. That's 2. We got the window right next to it. There's 3. We have a bookcase, number 4, and we have the door, number 5.
And this is what all of your listeners should do. In the room that they're in, pick 5 locations. If you're in your car, do it in your car. Now, let me give you, we're just going to give you, it's going to be a 5-word memory test. It's going to be easy. We'll go through this together. But what's your first piece of furniture?
It's the frame.
Now, the word we want to memorize is money. So I want you to imagine money shooting out of that frame. So is it a frame to a picture?
No, it's just a wooden frame, actually. It's a little bit abstract. It's a wooden frame, no picture at all.
So we're going to imagine that frame sells for $1 million and there's money just flying out of it.
Gotcha.
What's the next piece of furniture?
The lights.
On the lights, I want you to imagine a telephone. Maybe there's who's somebody really important you'd want to take their call?
Donald Trump.
Donald Trump.
I need him on the podcast, actually, yeah.
That would get you ratings because he's so polarizing. The people who hate him would want to listen to what he has to say, and the people who love him.
Yep.
So on the light, I want you to imagine you're doing a podcast with Donald Trump.
Awesome. The phone.
Okay.
Phone. The word is the phone.
Phone. Correct.
Got it. Red phone.
Red phone. The next piece of furniture, I want you to imagine a clock, like a big old grandfather cuckoo clock. What's that piece of furniture?
It's the window, so it's blocking the window because it's so big.
Yeah, there's a big old window there, and a clock's coming through. Number 4, what is your file?
It's a bookshelf.
A bookshelf. On the bookshelf, I want you to imagine a plant is growing out of that bookshelf, a plant like that grows something.
Yep, plant. Got it.
And let's just stop at 4 because I think people are going to get this. Let's go to 5. What's your number 5?
Door.
Door. On the door, what's your favorite sports team?
Oh, this is called the Washington Redskins.
What's your favorite professional team?
Should it be Cowboys Run? What's the question?
Texas Rangers is the correct answer.
Texas Rangers. It is. I love the Rangers.
No, it's okay. We'll do the Redskins. I don't mind doing amateur teams. So we'll have the Redskins running through the door. So go tell us all 5 words. What's starting at the frame? What were the 5 words we just memorized?
So we got money in the frame. We got the red phone with Trump on the lights. We got the large grandfather clock in the windows. We got a plant hanging in the bookshelf, and we have a football sports team running through the door.
This is the high-level overview of memory. Whatever you want to memorize, you need to turn it into a picture and have a place to store it. Now, it gets more, not complicated, but it becomes more involved when you're memorizing 7,000 words on the Afghanistan memory wall, or you're memorizing a deck of cards, or a 167-digit number. But it really all does come back down to this. If you want to memorize something, you need to have pieces of furniture numbered, and then you need to visualize whatever you want to see on that furniture.
What I love about that is the system you described works very well for memorizing names, but you have different techniques for memorizing different things. For example, the technique for memorizing names, while based on this, is different. Your technique for memorizing numbers, for example, is based on this, but the actual details are different. So but everything goes back to the visualization. And so I love that because let's say you do it with your house. you have 5 rooms times 5 pictures each. So that I can now memorize 25 names, which is, I mean, that would serve me for a very long time if I can remember 25 things in the order. So, what I did coming home from your thing is I just went through each of my rooms and I memorized 5 objects, and I know my house, right? So I know if I walk into my bedroom, I know where the window and the dresser is, and I know that's number 3 and 4, for example. And now I can use it in the way you described and memorize keywords, for example. Really powerful.
It is powerful, and it works. And, I'm 45 years old. I learned this when I was 18. So 27 years. So more than half my life, 60% of my life, I've been doing this. Anytime I learn anything now, it's just a habit now. I apply it to this. I was in the Navy from 2002 to 2010, and I had to take all these kind of classes, to get my certifications for the Navy. And I was just zooming through those, getting 100% on all the tests. And I was just wondering, man, I wonder how the other guys in my unit are doing this. And I mean, they weren't all getting 100, but some of them were doing well. And I guess what I'm trying to say is this has become such a part of my life. It's how I learn new things. It's how I give my speeches. It's really integrated into every aspect of my life.
Well, anyway, I want to bring you on the show and have you share some of these techniques with us. I think the biggest lesson here is it is actually possible to improve your memory. So Ron, how can people find out more about you and some of the systems that you teach?
Well, what I'd like I would like to do a special for your group. So
okay,
how about michaelblank.com/Ron? Is that right?
Okay, yeah, /Ron. We can do that. Yeah, perfect.
Okay, and then on that page, what we'll have there is a free gift that's a PDF download, and it'll have, my 5 steps to the memory process and kind of give them some tips that build on what we talked about. It's kind of like the next step.
That's awesome. I love that. So it's michaelblank.com/Ron. We'll have that PDF download, and that will then redirect also to your site so people can learn more about what you do as well. So awesome, man. Yeah. I thank you for coming on the show.
Oh, it's an honor. You're a good guy, and I'm somewhat of an introvert. I don't talk to people. I don't talk to a lot of people because I'm an introvert. But I just felt like I clicked with you, and I just kind of felt like we were similar, and so I really wanted to do this.
This is great, man. This is great. A little bit off topic, but man, improving my memory like that in 2.5 hours, I was like, man, more people need to know about that. So everybody check out the michaelblank.com/Ron and check out the stuff he's got on there. Great guy, Ron. Thank you again for coming on the show.
Thank you.
That was Larry Goins. What a great guy. I really enjoyed interviewing him, and he interviewed me for his podcast, so we got to know each other a little bit. Really great guy. Really like him a lot. He's done and seen so many different things, so definitely check him out. And here's the call to action really is, if you're a little bit skeptical about this whole apartment building thing, do read my book Financial Freedom with Real Estate Investing. It's really your blueprint to quitting your job by investing in apartment buildings, even if you have no experience or your own cash. I really spent, this is now no small book. It took me a year to write this thing. It's on Amazon right now. I think the price is around $9.99 right now. Should be priced at $1,000 because of everything that's in here. Also, by the way, comes with a companion course. There's a lot of videos and templates and downloadables I put in that obviously I couldn't put into the book. So check that out. Really have an open mind when you're thinking about, I want to quit my job with real estate, and you may not be thinking apartment buildings. Definitely check out this book. And again, our live conference coming up November 2nd through 4th, Dealmaker Live in Washington, D.C., themichaelblank.com/event. I hope to see you there, and I will definitely catch you on the next episode. All right, I hope you enjoyed that. Now, as the next step, download this ebook right here, okay? When you've downloaded that, make sure you also subscribe to my YouTube channel, because then you can get all of the videos that I release as soon as I release. So make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel right now. Click on that right now. And then also make sure that this is the next best video to watch, is this one right here. So hope you enjoyed that. I'll catch you next time.